Define your investment goal before buying real estate. Video 1 of the 10 essential steps for real estate investors before you buy your first investment property, before you look at listings, before you call a realtor, before you speak with a lender, and before you start dreaming about rental income. There is one question you need to answer first. What is your investment goal? Because investing in real estate is not one single road. It is a highway with many different lanes. Some investors are looking for monthly cash flow. Some are looking for long-term appreciation. Some want to buy, renovate, and sell. Some want to buy and hold. Some are interested in the BRRRR strategy. Some are looking at short-term rentals. And others are not focused on quick money at all. They are trying to build long-term wealth and generational legacy. But this is where many beginner investors make their first mistake. They say, I want to invest in real estate, but they have not clearly defined what kind of investor they want to become. And when you do not define your goal, you can buy the wrong property, use the wrong loan, choose the wrong market, underestimate the expenses, and end up trapped in a deal that does not match your life, your finances, or your risk tolerance. That is why, before you buy anything, you need clarity. Because the goal determines the strategy, and the strategy determines the property. Let's break this down from the ground up. The first goal many investors focus on is cash flow. Cash flow means the property produces money every month after all expenses are paid. We are not talking about imaginary cash flow. We are not talking about saying, the rent is higher than the mortgage, so I am making money. No. We are talking about real cash flow. That means you collect the rent, and then you subtract the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, repairs, maintenance, vacancy, utilities if applicable, property management and reserves. Whatever's left after all of that is your true cash flow. Many beginner investors make this mistake. They say, the mortgage is $2,000 and the rent is $2,500, so I am making $500 a month. But that is not necessarily true. What about repairs? What about vacancy? What about insurance increases? What about property taxes? What about maintenance? What about water, sewer, landscaping, snow removal, pest control, city inspections, permits and emergencies? Cash flow requires discipline because the numbers must work coldly, not emotionally. An investor focused on cash flow is usually looking for properties that can produce consistent monthly income. This may include multifamily properties, small apartment buildings, certain single-family rentals, room rentals, or properties in markets where rents are strong compared to the purchase price. The benefit of cash flow is stability. A good cash-flowing property can help pay down debt, protect you during market changes, and create monthly income over time. But the challenge is that strong cash flow can be difficult to find in expensive markets. Sometimes, the numbers simply do not work. And when the numbers do not work, you cannot force them to work just because you like the property. Remember this, cash flow is not about how beautiful the property is. Cash flow is about what the property produces after expenses. The second goal is appreciation. Appreciation means you are buying because you believe the property will increase in value over time. This strategy is common in growing cities, developing neighborhoods, coastal markets, luxury markets, or areas where development, jobs, transportation, lifestyle, or population growth may push values higher in the future. An investor focused on appreciation may accept less cash flow today because they believe the larger gain will come later, when the property becomes more valuable. For example, someone may buy in an area before a major development is completed. Maybe a new commercial district is being built. Maybe luxury buildings are coming. Maybe new restaurants, schools, transportation, or commercial projects are changing the area. That investor is not only buying the property, they are buying the future of the location. But appreciation has risk, because appreciation is never guaranteed. Markets can slow down. Interest rates can change. Insurance costs can rise. Taxes can increase. Demand can shift. A neighborhood may take longer than expected to improve. So if your goal is appreciation, you need patience and strong financial reserves. You cannot depend on the market saving you immediately. The key question is, am I buying this property because it produces money today, or because I believe it will be worth more tomorrow? Both can be valid strategies, but you need to know which one you are doing. The third goal is buy, renovate, and sell, also known as fix and flip. This is the strategy many people see on television. You buy a property, renovate it, and sell it for a profit. It sounds simple, but in reality, flipping is one of the most misunderstood strategies in real estate. Because the profit is not made when you sell. The profit is made when you buy correctly. A successful flip depends on several things. You must buy at the right price. You must know the real cost of repairs. You must know the after-repair value. You must understand permits, timelines, contractors, materials, holding costs, closing costs, selling costs, and market demand. And most importantly, you must have a margin of safety, because things go wrong. A $40,000 renovation can become $60,000. A 3-month project can become 6 months. A contractor can disappear. Permits can delay the work. Interest payments can eat into the profit. The market can change while you are still renovating. So fix and flip is not only about construction, it is about risk management. This strategy may work well for someone who understands renovations, has contractor relationships, has access to capital, and can move quickly. But for a beginner investor with no construction experience, no team, no reserves, and no understanding of repair costs, flipping can be dangerous. The question you need to ask yourself is, do I have the experience, capital, team, and discipline to manage this project from purchase to resale? If the answer is no, then flipping may not be the right first strategy for you. The fourth goal is buy and hold. This is one of the classic strategies for building wealth in real estate. You buy a property, rent it out, hold it for years, and allow time to work in your favor. The goal may include cash flow, appreciation, mortgage paydown, tax benefits, and long-term wealth creation. Buy and hold is not always exciting, it is not always fast, but it can be powerful. Why? Because over time, tenants may help you pay down the mortgage, the property may increase in value, rents may rise, your equity may grow, and eventually the property can become a major asset. But this strategy requires patience. It also requires responsibility, because when you buy and hold, you become a landlord, or you hire a property manager. That means tenant screening, leases, repairs, maintenance, local laws, inspections, and long-term planning. Buy and hold investors must think beyond the purchase. They need to ask, can I hold this property if the tenant leaves? Can I afford repairs? Can I survive 3 months without rent? Can I handle replacing a roof? Can I deal with changes in taxes and insurance? Can I manage tenants, or do I need a property manager? Buy and hold is not just buying a property, it is operating a business, and the property is the business. The fifth goal is the BRRRR strategy. BRRRR stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. This strategy is designed to recycle capital. The idea is to buy a property below market value, renovate it, rent it out, refinance based on the improved value, pull out some or all of your money, and use that money to buy the next property. When done correctly, BRRRR can help an investor grow faster, but when done incorrectly, it can be very risky, because BRRRR depends on precise numbers at every stage. You need to know the purchase price, you need to know the rehab cost, you need to know the rental value, you need to know the after repair value, you need to know whether the refinance will actually work, you need to know whether the property will qualify, you need to know whether the appraisal will support your plan. A beginner may assume, I will simply refinance and pull my money out, but that is not guaranteed. What happens if the appraisal comes in low? What happens if interest rates are higher? What happens if the rent is lower than expected? What happens if the lender requires more seasoning? What happens if you cannot pull out as much money as you thought? Then your capital can get stuck. BRRRR is a powerful strategy, but it requires precision. This is not a strategy where you guess. This is a strategy where you calculate carefully before you buy. The question is, can this property support the entire BRRRR plan, or am I depending on hope? And hope is not a strategy. The sixth goal is short-term rental investing. This includes Airbnb, VRBO, vacation rentals, furnished rentals, and other short-term stays. Short-term rentals can produce more income than traditional rentals in certain markets, especially tourist destinations, beach areas, business districts, medical zones, and event-driven locations. But they also require more work. A short-term rental is not passive in the same way as a traditional rental. It operates more like hospitality. You have guest communication, cleaning furniture, supplies, reviews, pricing, maintenance, local rules, taxes, permits, insurance, and competition. And one of the biggest mistakes beginner investors make with short-term rentals is assuming the income will always be high. But occupancy changes, seasons change, regulations change, platform rules change, Travel demand changes, insurance changes, competition increases. A short-term rental may look incredible on paper, but if the city changes the rules or the building prohibits short-term rentals, your entire strategy can collapse. So before buying a property for short-term rental use, you must confirm the rules. Do not guess. Do not assume. Confirm. Does the city allow it? Does the county allow it? Does the condo association allow it? Does the HOA allow it? Are there minimum rental periods? Are permits required? Are there hotel-style taxes? Are there occupancy limits? Is special insurance required? Short-term rentals can be profitable, but they are more active, more regulated, and more operational than many beginners realize. The question is, am I buying a rental property, or am I buying a hospitality business? Because those are not the same thing. The seventh goal is building long-term wealth. This is the bigger vision. This is not about one property. This is about building a portfolio. It is about creating assets that can support you, protect your family, build equity, produce income, and possibly become part of your legacy. Long-term wealth investors think differently. They are not chasing every shiny deal that appears. They are building a plan. Maybe they start with one small multifamily property, then another, then a mixed-use property, then a small apartment building, then maybe commercial real estate, then maybe development. The goal is not only to make money today. The goal is to build something that grows over time. But long-term wealth requires patience, discipline, education, and emotional control. You cannot build wealth if every decision is based on fear, greed, or emotion. You need a plan. You need reserves. You need a team. You need to understand debt. You need to understand risk. You need to understand markets, and you need to know when to say no, because in real estate, the deals you avoid can be just as important as the deals you buy. Sometimes the smartest investment decision is to walk away. Now here comes the most important part. Each investment goal requires a different type of property, different financing, a different risk level, a different timeline, and a different mindset. A property with good cash flow may not be the best appreciation property. A good flip may not be a good rental. A short-term rental may not work as a long-term rental. A luxury appreciation property may not produce monthly income. A BRRRR property may only work if the refinance numbers are realistic. So before asking, is this a good deal? You need to ask, good deal for what? Good for cash flow. Good for appreciation. Good for renovating and selling. Good for buying and holding. Good for BRRRR. Good for short-term rental. Good for long-term wealth. Because a property can be good for one strategy and terrible for another. That is why your investment goal must be defined before you buy. Your goal is your compass. Without it, you are simply walking through the market, blind. So, if you are a beginner investor, do not start by asking, what property should I buy? Start by asking, what am I trying to accomplish? Do I want monthly income? Do I want long-term appreciation? Do I want to renovate and resell? Do I want to buy and hold? Do I want to use BRRRR to grow faster? Do I want short-term rental income? Or do I want to slowly build wealth for myself and my family? Once you answer that question, everything becomes clearer. The market you choose becomes clearer. The property type becomes clearer. The financing becomes clearer. The risk becomes clearer. The numbers become clearer. And most importantly, your decision-making becomes stronger. Because real estate investing is not about buying just anything. It is about buying the right thing for the right reason. So remember this, before you invest your money, invest your time in defining your goal, because a clear goal can protect you from a bad deal. And in real estate, clarity is not optional. Clarity is your first line of defense. I also highly recommend that you take a real estate licensing course in your state. I cannot emphasize this enough. It is to your advantage personally and professionally. Even if you never become a practicing real estate agent, the knowledge you gain about contracts, agency, disclosures, ethics, financing, property law, fair housing, and the full transaction process can make you a more educated, more confident, and more dangerous investor in the best possible way. This is step 1 of becoming a smarter real estate investor. Define your investment goal before you buy, because when your goal is clear, your strategy becomes more precise, your numbers become stronger, and your chances of making a good investment decision increase. Remember, the investor who knows the goal knows the direction. The investor who does not know the goal is simply gambling. With better vocabulary. Settings: add bold subtitles with popping effect. Use appropriate media. Use a male, clear American voice for the narrator.